Percent Podcast.
Okay, we're live. This is Matthew, and I'm back with my dude Rizzle for another special interview on the Matthew and Rizzle Show. This week, our guest is going to be a familiar name to longtime podcast listeners. He was on here back in February when his project was just entering the NFT marketplace scene. Since then, they've definitely blown up, and most recently, they've really caught the attention of people not just within the NFT space, but the broader crypto space for the release of their governance token that goes by the name of RARI. I'm really, really excited to be speaking with Alex, who is PM and co-founder of the NFT marketplace project, Rarible. Welcome to the show again, Alex.
Thanks, Matthew. Thank you for inviting me to the show. I'm so glad to be here for the second time and share all of the updates that we have till now with all of you guys. Thanks.
Yeah, let's get into those updates. Since February, the project has really grown. You have hundreds of users, creators minting on your platform. So hit us with some high-level metrics and stats, like what's growth been like, what's the user base like, wow us with numbers, basically.
Sure. So we went live on November 2019. So when we talked in February, it was like 4 months of us live, and basically we at that point we were just taking off. So you got our attention. We got your attention pretty early. So it's great that you're observing the space. And by that time, we had just like several $1,000s per month of gross marketplace volume. So and since most of them are initial sales, so I can say that at that time we brought to our creators several $1,000s per month. And since then, we've been growing like more or less 50 to 100% per month. It was a steady growth. So it was like 3,000, 5,000, 10,000, 20,000. At some point, somebody came. We started attracting large collectors. Somebody just came and bought all of the Azinachi art. At some point, it was in May, I think, that skyrocketed his returns on Rarible. In terms of user base, it was also quite steady. So 1,000 users per month. It was like 2,000. So yeah, all metrics more or less have been growing like 50% to 100% per month. And we've been just busy keeping things shipped continuously, new features. Of course, it's a lot of feature requests, and we had a lot of ideas of what to implement there. Like keeping our heads down, developing basically. Yeah, that's the basic growth in terms of numbers since then.
Dude, I'm curious to know like what you attribute that rate of growth to, because obviously the space has been expanding, but I don't feel like the marketplaces that you're like, somewhat in competition with have been growing at the clip that you guys have. And I feel like you guys do a couple things like really, really well that people are not doing, but maybe that's not the reason. And I'm just curious to hear your take on why you guys have, continued to have such exponential growth.
Well, I think the main reason for that is that we've always been community oriented. We've been open to a lot of creators. We don't have a pre-moderation, and that's why we somehow, I don't know how, but we kind of got something like a very loyal community. They've been so great with us. I think something like that maybe I don't want to compare ourselves to Binance, but at some point, I think the mechanic can be more or less the same. At some point, Binance started to growing just because they've been a simple, community-oriented, like people's exchange, and I think we maybe here doing something similar. So we're like people's marketplace.
Mm. From a more like hands-on user-based perspective, I mean, as a non-artist myself, but someone who finally, I guess like a month and a half ago, minted my first NFT, I looked at all the platforms. Obviously, I'm excluded from a couple of them because they whitelist their creators. And then the choice is down to you and another project. And well, first of all, you had all the features that I needed. You had the unlock feature, which is crucial, but also your UI UX is just so streamlined. I feel comfortable introducing and recommending Rarible to people that are just coming into the space curious about it, because it's so easy to use. It really is. At the end of the day, it's straightforward. There's not like, even though you offer a lot of functionality, it's pretty simple to use everything. So I feel like that, in addition to the points that you mentioned, making Rarible like the people's marketplace, I feel like that usability and just the overall good UI UX is a huge reason for that growth. And it's great to see that those solid fundamentals are actually leading to growth. I'm curious, I just want to make sure we don't miss any of the other updates that Rarible has added since February before we dive into what I'm really excited to talk about in RARI and the governance token. If you just want to hit folks with some of the other features that you've added since like the unlock feature, which is what we talked about last time, I think that would be cool before we transition.
Yeah. Of course, we do have some major feature introductions since then. So as I told before, we don't have a white list of creators right now, and that brought us a lot of positive effects, and then negative, of course, just because we still have some issues that people come and try to force something. That's why we introduced the smart reporting system. So basically, you can report whatever you see, and the team will quickly assess what's going on here, and maybe delete it from the marketplace. Of course, not from the blockchain. We can do that right now. That's a big one, and it was connected to a lot of interesting moments when there was a big debate on like whether it's an art or whether it's a copy, whether it's a reflection on somebody's work. So there was a lot of arguments in this space that brings us to the creation of governance token, of course, to empowering community with decisions more here. So that's one of the features that we introduced. Another one that was really big one and pretty complicated. It's a multiple minting. So it happened to be a difficult one. It's been in development, like, I don't know, for maybe 2 months or so. I've been dreaming about this since we launched. And basically, we support ERC 1155 standard for that, not just minting like 10 pieces of the usual NFT 721. That was quite hard to incorporate, and keeping the same UX and simple. But I think we accomplished that. So now you can mint whatever number of NFTs you want, whatever number of editions you want. Like it can be 1 million, and that would cost you only one transaction in terms of gas fees. That was a big one. And it's quite popular. We do see a lot of editions of artwork on the platform. We also experimented with some fundraising using this multiple minting features. For example, one of our artists conducted a fundraising during Black Lives Matter movement. He created like 100,000 pieces for sale, and then contributed the proceedings to the organization. That's an interesting use case of this multiple minting feature of using it. Then really big request from our community. We implemented royalties. So the artist who creates a work, who mints an NFT, can set up a flexible percentage of royalties. It can be anything from 0 to 100%. Actually, I do want to see a 100% royalty at some point. I think that's a good social experiment. Yeah, so we can a creator can set up arbitrary royalties on his works and receive them. That's a big ask by our creators. And one of the probably biggest latest introductions was a verified badge. So we kind of felt that we do need to highlight some of the original artists that do have a large user base on Twitter, that do have that do have a genuine approach to their works. So yeah, we introduced the verified creator badge that is done by the team. So it's not whitelisting, but highlighting the specific authors. And yes, and notifications, and that was the earliest one, I guess, after we spoke, because at that point in time you weren't even able to see that you sold something. Yeah, of course we went down on that one.
So how did you get to the point where you decided, was the RARI token like always in the cards, or did this sort of like come up organically based on like how things had developed?
As I remember, we did have some thoughts on launching token back in the days when we just started. Back then, it was just not many projects did that at that point, so it was kind of just in the backlog for too long. We didn't have an exact idea how would that work. So basically, the crucial thing that it missed at that point when we were thinking about introducing this token, we didn't thought about making a liquidity mining program at that point. And as soon as we came up with this, it clicked, and we decided to launch it.
And can you dig into that concept of marketplace liquidity mining?
Of course. Well, right now, basically, liquidity bootstrapping mechanisms are quite native to the DeFi space. We've seen a lot of things like that coming in the DeFi, Compound, Balancer, Wire, and right now, a lot of projects came up with more or less the same idea. So they are rewarding their users with the governance token, so they are able to make the decisions of where the platform will go. And I think it's a brilliant invention of the whole DeFi space, just because it creates a positive feedback loop. So you reward the users for whom this platform was created initially. You reward them with the ability to make decisions on where this platform will go next. So that's one of the best alignment of interest of you as a platform and your users, just because that's what you empower your users to decide what will be implemented. And as more users come to the platform to receive those rewards in the governance token to decide, the more popular platform becomes. That makes its token more popular. That makes more new users coming to the platform. So this is a brilliant recursive structure of attracting new users, of bootstrapping the liquidity to the marketplace, because now they have an additional reason to come to you and trade, not to come to the other marketplace. DeFi projects basically are the money marketplaces. So this liquidity bootstrapping mechanism works quite the same there. The more supply side you have, the more demand side you have. As more demand side you have, the more supply side you have. And you need an additional reason for this supply demand circulation to grow. And this governance token gives you exact reason for your users to come on board. a lot of artists came to us after we launched this governance token program. So basically, it works like every week, a specific number of tokens, in our case, it's 75,000 tokens, are distributed among the buyers and sellers of the marketplace according to their volume, according to their weekly volume contributed. So the more you buy or the more you sell on Rarible, the more tokens by the end of the week you will receive. A lot of people came to the marketplace to trade, to receive those rewards, because they want to make decisions of the future of the platform where they trade. Basically, I'll give here the line to you here, just because I do want to hear some questions. I can talk about it for hours.
No, I'm curious, like what equals what. So I have stuff in my wallet that I have off of Rarible, and woke up to find magic RARI tokens in that I was able to claim, and I was super excited about it. And to my knowledge, nothing has happened in my wallet in the past week through Rarible, although that may not entirely be true, because sometimes people send me things or whatever. And then I just checked today before we hopped on, and I had more magic like RARI token in my wallet. So I'm like, this is awesome, man. What's the most effective way for me to make this continue to appear? Like, is it weighted towards like sellers? Is it weighted towards people who buy like high-end pieces of art? Is it more like towards people who buy volume? Is it like a pretty even split? I'm just wondering, like, if I put on my farmer's hat, how do I get more of this shit?
That's a great question. So basically, let me tell you all of the ways you could receive this RARI token. So first 2% of the tokens went to the creators, to the sellers of the platform that were always there. Oh, sorry, mistake here. Only 1% of the token went to the creators and the sellers who were always there on the marketplace before we launched this governance token. So when you've been doing some purchases or sales in the early life of Rarible, you are eligible to claim now. And so we distributed 2%. 1% went to the sellers and 1% went to the buyers, strictly according to the volume that they made. So before we launched the governance token, there was like $70,000 of total volume on the marketplace during the 6 weeks. So we distributed this 2% of tokens and to those people who contributed to this volume before it all was announced. And the second option, how you could get it, is the airdrop. We announced a massive airdrop to all of the NFT holders that are out there, regardless of their platform, of the platform that they obtain their NFTs from. In total, 8% of the total supply of RARI tokens are entitled to these NFT holders. Again, this is done with respect to the volume of these NFTs, not to the volume, but to the price of this NFT. In order to understand what the price of an NFT is, we scan through the blockchain. We are looking for the sales that were made on chain, for example, on some marketplace or in the in-game pre-sale or something like that. We are looking on the on-chain records of the sales, and that's how we understand the price of an NFT. And we reward those users with tokens. So if you have an NFT that you sure was sold at least once or was bought, you are eligible to claim. 8% of the tokens went there, but this happened in two parts. So one part, 4%, we already did it. And we reserved another 4% from this for everyone who know that they have NFTs, but they weren't somehow included in this distribution, just because the data isn't ideal. We know that we kind of we might miss something. So if you know that your NFT was bought but you didn't have anything to claim right now, feel free to fill out the airdrop support form, and we will include you in the second part of this airdrop. So again, let me repeat: airdrop for the Rarible users before the token launch. Then the second part is the airdrop to NFT holders, regardless of the platform that they are from. And the third part is marketplace liquidity mining. Buy and sell on the marketplace strictly according to the volume. Every week you will receive your distribution. So 75,000 tokens distributed weekly to the total number of people who made the volume according to their volume. Buy and sell side are equal here.
And it's a total run of 25 million. Did I read that correctly?
Yes. The total number of tokens is 25 million. So the marketplace liquidity mining will be here for 4 years. Weekly, it's 200 weeks. And 60% of tokens will be distributed this way.
I had heard about the RARI airdrop maybe a couple weeks ago. And I was checking my Trust wallet, seeing if it would be deposited automatically into my wallet. And I didn't see anything. So I was like, okay, well, I didn't know what the deal was because I was an early collector on Rarible and minted that one piece that I mentioned. But then only last week at the WIP, at the post-show event, I forget who was talking about the RARI. They were saying how they had hundreds of RARI received for their work, and that equated to hundreds and hundreds of dollars at the time based on the exchange rate of RARI to ETH. And I was like, what the deuce? Where's my RARI? And they mentioned that you have to go to rarible.com and then you just claim your tokens and you'll see it waiting that way. And then you can exchange or send wherever. And I was like, oh, damn, I had no idea the claiming mechanism for the airdrop. So I feel like that's a really important piece to convey to folks, how to get that actual airdrop.
Right, you're totally right here. Of course. Let me just dive into why we decided to make something like that. Just because those marketplace liquidity mining, it's a continuous process. So you can receive something this week, something next week, something the week after this one. And if your volume is relatively low, then your tokens reward will also be quite low, and potentially if that's lower than the $5 right now, that makes it makes it infeasible to run an actual airdrop and to distribute those tokens to the wallets, because we will spend the same $5 on gas fees to deliver it to your wallet. So, but with the process as we go, when you need to claim them, it can be you wait for 5 weeks, you accumulate some number of tokens that are entitled to you, and then you claim them at once, and that's more effective in terms of gas price.
That definitely makes sense. And again, at the end of the day, since I had hundreds of RARI tokens, and last week the exchange was $1.25, $1.30, it was really, really amazing. I was like, oh my God. I spent quite a bit on Rarible, but I definitely got a lot back, and it was a more than a pleasant surprise. It was really kind of amazing. Obviously, there's a lot of benefits, a lot of pros to introducing this sort of governance token, but almost immediately I saw that there's questions of wash trading being raised. Some individuals maybe trying to flip back and forth between multiple addresses, particular NFTs. But again, real quick, to your guys' credit, when that was pointed out over on Twitter, I saw the Rarible team kind of swoop in and mention that they're taking a look at it. But I'm curious, outside of those instances where you kind of had it brought to your attention, what are some of the steps Rarible is taking on the inside to kind of preemptively step out in front of this wash trading issue? Curious to hear what you guys are doing to try to prevent that issue from rearing its head.
Yeah, it's a great topic to speculate on. So of course, after we introducing the rewards for buyers and sellers, what we see is an instant reaction of the community that just goes and then starts to buy and sell from themselves, right? Right now, we are taking like manual steps towards this. We have a lot of people that are just monitoring all of the transactions, and they come up with a decision: is this a wash trading or not, basically. And our community have been really helpful with that, just because there is like 700 pair of eyes right now in the group, in the Rarible group. So it kind of works well. It takes a lot of time, but we make sure that no wash trader will ever receive a RARI reward here, and that every genuine trader will do. That's where we are now, and we are working on researching some alternative means to prevent that in terms of the development of the features that would prevent that. I can share the exact model of solving this, just because we are like evaluating several of them that might result in a slight change of the token economic, of the token distribution, and that will be done again according to our community, because the community already matters. The community already starts making decisions here. So yeah, that's a kind of tough topic to dive into, but so far it's all working, and we expect it to have a more effective solution in a while.
That's awesome, man. Are you guys currently like in the midst of getting this coin like perfected, or are you already like on to the next step, or where do things go from here for Rarible? If you want, man, I got like a short list of things that I really want from Rarible that would help. But I think you guys are doing a great job, and I feel like you guys are also big picture focused rather than like getting stuck in nuances, which has also been extremely beneficial to you guys. But yeah, man, what's on tap?
What's on tap? Okay, so first of all, if you have a list of features that you want to be implemented, yeah, feel free to get to the rarible.nolt.io, rarible.nolt.io. It's a platform that we use for making feature suggestions. It's a great one. You can vote for the feature there, and sooner or later we will implement the governance token voting mechanism with the decision of making those features go up in priorities. And that's the first one. And of course, a lot of our instant roadmap will be devoted to the governance process. We are in the process of research of which DAO to set up, which decisions to make, how we'll make that decisions, because like the gas price is quite high. With a lot of decisions, we will need to have a lot of votes, and like Aragon DAO has on-chain votes, and that costs a lot of gas. Balancer did another approach. They have a voting based on signatures that is free. So yeah, it's a research phase of getting set up a great DAO for our users, and I think these early decisions will be crucial to the success of this DAO. Just because this is what the whole governance token is about making the decisions and making the correct decisions. We are thinking about liquid democracy here, just because in the other DeFi projects, users are more or less native to the financial background, to making the decisions, to making financial decisions of what it's going to be done with the project, and we on the other hand have artists, have people who are less native to these financials. Although I do see how quickly they learn how quickly they become experts in this DeFi, and that really fascinates me also. So this is one of the big things here. So like governance, experimentation, setting up DAO, governance processes, voting, liquid democracy. This is one particular field of development here. Another one is that we actively working on discovery on the marketplace. So our user base outgrowth this single sheet of all of the items that are on the marketplace right now. So we are working on the likes, following, search, basically a lot of different means to discover things that you want to buy, or that's very very big for us. And as always, we are working on supporting as many means of payments as possible. We do want to introduce fiat payments at some point in time. So yeah, that's basically the roadmap ahead of us.
It's going to be really exciting to see how this Rarible DAO takes shape. And I think it's really smart the way that you're approaching it up front. You're taking it the lightest approach I think you guys can, especially considering like the gas price issues heading forward. And you're not as heavy-handed as, for example, like the Aragon DAO that you mentioned, where every decision is going to be like an expensive on-chain transaction. So I think it could be interesting, though, to kind of unpack or at least elucidate the rights that the token holders, the RARI token holders, have when like a proposal is made or when it's time to vote on something, because they don't have like complete control over the direction of Rarible, at least at this point, right? So like for people that do have a lot of RARI token, what is their actual power in the decision-making process versus like Rarible, the company right now? How do you balance those two competing sides now?
Right, man. How do I stack enough RARI to call some shots, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's a great question. I'm pretty sure that a lot of people are interested in this one. So we started with the liquidity mining mechanism right now, just because we wanted to distribute those tokens as early as possible to the community of people who are helping the project to evolve. We wanted to start this liquidity mining mechanism. And it's doing great. We do have a lot of new liquidity. Basically, the metrics of the project spiked like from 2 to 10x by any metrics that we have inside Rarible. And the actual voting rights would be the following. So, of course, the first initial one is the obvious feedback on the features that needs to be developed. That's a crucial part for our governance token holders to direct the team to some direction in which we do want to continue the development. At first, it will be done in terms of suggestions. So, unlike Compound, who right now has the exact like Compound proposals are exact code that needs to be executed after the proposal is passed. And we are not there yet. And right now it will be done as a suggestion to the team. What do users want to see from the platform? And the second one will be curation of the platform. So we want our DAO holders to curate the content on the platform. We do want them to decide which new artists needs to be highlighted. There will be a section on the Rarible website that you will be vote for the artwork to be listed there. So like other platforms have some curators inside their teams. They are making this decision by themselves, and it's often non-transparent. And we do want this to be done by the community. And last time, as I was here on podcast, we were speaking about community-driven moderation of the platform. That's the point in which we are come close to it, like the closest. Okay, right now we are like as close to this as possible. Again, so this smart reporting feature that I told you about will be also the decision on the report feature, on the reporting and the banning and the deleting some items from displaying on Rarible will be also transferred to this DAO, to the governance token holders. Right, and in the future, we will gradually introduce more and more decisions to go with Rarible as an ultimate goal. The way I see it, so it will be the upgradable protocol, and with the governance token holders will be able to vote on upgrades to a specific version of a contract here, and we will use a graph protocol as a backend, or any other solution to use as a backend. We will have an open source front end that will be listed on the ENS domain or any other domain. So as I see it, the space is moving towards allowing a complete decentralization of the platform. So if we have an open source front end, if we have a protocol, if we can make this all belong to the DAO, then the ultimate goal would be that, like the complete decentralization of the platform.
Dude, that's awesome. I feel like the community-focused approach is huge and something that we've also collectively talked about together. And I feel like allowing anybody the opportunity to get on your platform is something that we really haven't seen in scale since like Additional came around. And I always think back to this conversation that I was having with Sparrow about like how important of a role that is to have a decentralized platform where anyone can get on and just play around, and how a lot of the artists that are really, really big in this space wouldn't be today had they not had a platform like you guys are giving people to just let people run wild with whatever ideas they want and let the community decide what works and what doesn't and what's okay and what's not. And you guys just seem like you're making a great example. Dude, on my short list of things, I would love to search for verified artists only. I thought that was like a great idea and something that's like super necessary for a platform like yours. And it's, I'm sure it's on the list or something. I haven't checked it out. I'll definitely send you some suggestions or whatever. But I think you guys are doing an awesome job as a collector. There's a couple like search engine type of things that would make my experience a little bit better. But the other thing that I really, really enjoy about your platform is I feel like it's one of very few places where you can truly go hunting for really awesome, affordable pieces of art. And I think a lot, especially with the gas prices, a lot of the OG platforms have sort of priced themselves out of a lot of people's equation with the bottom rung of prices being somewhere around $20-$25. And there are a lot of people, including myself, who would sometimes rather, get 3 or 4 pieces of cool art from lesser known people than just one piece from, a run of 30 from someone who's, gained a little more fame at this point. So, I don't know, man, that was sort of a ramble, but I think you guys are doing a lot of really cool things right that a lot of people should pay attention to. Man, we'll continue to farm RARI and poke around over there.
Totally. The one thing I wanted to leave you guys with, and I think this is like the dark horse in Rarible's corner, that other NFT marketplaces haven't been as proactive in thinking about heading forward. But I know right now it seems like the majority of users on all of these platforms are crypto artists. But Rarible from the early days has definitely had a much more diverse user base in mind as they're building out the platform. I'm curious, have you seen any non-crypto artists start to use Rarible in any meaningful number? Who do you anticipate the next major type of user to be that hops on Rarible heading forward?
as I see it right now, we are kind of merging the DeFi space and the NFT space. So this RARI token and the governance token sentiment is mostly native to the crypto native. To the crypto native users. That's why what we see right now is a lot of engagement from existing users, from existing crypto native people. Yeah, that's what we are seeing right now. But what we do want to cover is the Asian markets. Basically, that's the big take for us, that we are going to. NFTs are quite native to the Asian markets, and we do want to see a lot of new people coming from there. And of course, we have everything for them to be onboarded, just because this easy to use interface is what allows us to go for new markets and like hunt for the users, hunt for the new users, hunt for the new segments, and onboard them as quickly as possible.
Totally. Rizzle, did you have any questions you want to finish up with?
Yeah, man. What do you, we're obviously all like fans of this space. What do you collect on the side, or is there any like artist or project outside of your own that you've been checking out or accumulating or anything like that?
Right now, I've been so busy with heads down developing the platform, so I can highlight something else I've been seeing a lot. Maybe I'd like to give big thumbs up to the guys from Zerion that are launching a new version of their platforms, and the DeFi market cap things that they're doing is also great. Take a look at the DeFi market cap. The number of the total DeFi market cap is going to rise soon, like several times, right?
Yeah, well, just like the first time we spoke with you, the second time has been a real eye-opener. I'm such a fan of Rarible because of its experimentation and then the success that you guys are garnering because of that experimentation and being the industry leaders and trying out a lot of new things and not being afraid to kind of deal with some of the blowback that comes with doing new things and pushing the boundaries of what's possible and what people think is like should be the way to do things. So again, like hats off to you and your team, and thank you for taking the time to hop on to the Matthew and Rizzle show to talk to us about Rarible. Wish you the best of luck and keep on creating.
Thank you for having me.
Podcast. Podcast.